presentation has been created to help us draw climate graphs. There are some students who will also help us to work out what the different parts mean. Remember, pause the show as you go along and make some notes. On the screen we have some key words that we need to understand. These are set out like revision cards. The first definition is temperature.
Temperature is the measure of how hot or cold the atmosphere is.
Precipitation is rain, sleet, hail or snow that falls to the ground.
A climate is the average expected weather conditions of an atmosphere in a place.
Climate data is usually based on data that's been collected for well over 30 years. Pause the show now to make sure you understand these definitions before moving on. When plotting a climate graph, it is important to take your time when looking at the data. Start by looking at what each row shows and start by searching for the highest values. The data here shows 76 millimeters in November being the highest rainfall value and 16.5 degrees in July being the highest temperature. Next, round up the highest values so that they're a lot easier to be able to plot on the graph. Before starting to label the axis, double check that you can easily plot the data. Here, I've gone up with every square being 5 millimeters of rainfall or 1 degree of temperature as shown on the screen. Pause the show and double check that you understand these top hints before moving on. Using the rainfall data from the top row of the screen, the depth bars have been drawn using a pencil and a ruler. Notice how all the bars touch each other. Always check that you are using the correct rainfall data and rainfall axis as you plot the first part of the graph. Pause the show and read over the top tips before moving on. We can see the finished rainfall bar chart. We're now going to carefully complete the temperature line graph. Remember that the data we are using is the second row in the table. I've put a pencil over the other data so I don't make a mistake and use it. I'll now be plotting from the right axis towards the left using a pencil. Big hint is to put a small cross in the middle of the month where the data is. The line graph is carefully created using the right hand temperature y-axis with a pencil. A red pencil then links up the crosses. It may be worth replaying this part, making sure you get it correct before moving on. In order to fully complete the climate graph, ensure that the finishing touches are done. All graphs require labelled axes, a title, and a key to help show what the graph is about. This now concludes the short presentation on how to draw climate graphs.